Hello, everybody. Welcome to Des Cry Gaming. I'm here to bring to you a skirmish game here. So we're actually going against Venom Goblin, and I recently kind of wrapped up my Sinister Motives campaign. It was brutal. We had the highest rep, which is kind of dumb because when you get the highest rep 25, you're given the symbiote suit plus an extra encounter card plus the hazard of the symbiote suit. So that's like 4 extra encounter cards on turn 1. Plus going into Venom Goblin, you're given 2 additional encounter cards on expert per player plus public outcry, another encounter card. So my personal feelings on it, I think when you engulf the player with so much surge and so much encounter cards, it becomes an RNG kind of situation, which I think, yes, a card game does have RNG, like obviously, but it becomes even more apparent when they mix all that up. Another thing too is why, if a player does really well, you want to award that player for doing well to, by playing hard and smart and getting the points. But in reality, you're actually hurting the player, like giving them an extra 2 encounter cards at the start plus the symbiote suit, which is permanent, or not permanent, but you get that hazard every round, additional card. It's not like, I would say the symbiote suit is kind of a two-edged sword. Like for most heroes, it's not really benefiting that much. Some heroes like Drax and other kind of heroes that utilize a lot of readies or need high health, yes, they get more out of symbiote suit. But in my opinion, I think they kind of, again, almost like Galaxy's Most Wanted, screwed up on the balancing again. And I don't know if it's like the developers are stubborn or not listening to the testers, or the testers aren't telling them, hey, that's way too many encounter cards, and why would you make it a negative for someone doing well to get the highest score? It's actually like the strategy really is not to get to 25. So I think it's just bad game design when like you play the game a lot and you understand like the benefits and positives, and you're like, yeah, it makes no sense to get to 25 rep. So which leads me, I like to actually we're gonna cover all the boxes before we play. On the back it tells us who tested, who developed, so we can kind of see, maybe like I guess you could say, if Caleb's name is on it or Bog's name is on it, ultimately the buck stops at them, right? I mean, there's no way to sugarcoat it. You could blame a tester, blame COVID or whatever, but they just need to find somebody that like loves, like, I think they're getting better, but like I feel like there's periods of the cycle where I feel like I don't know what happened, like they rushed it out, or they didn't know what to do, or they just didn't have somebody in their testing group with like knowledgeable, or maybe they're not listening to the testing group as much. I don't know what it is. And I don't know if that's one of the reasons why like Michael Boggs is like left Fantasy Flight. Like maybe he got a lot of like criticism, or a lot of, like, I don't know the whole story. What I heard is I think he went to another country or something. So I think maybe that's the real story, but not to say he's not a good developer, but I see his name plastered on certain things of a expansion box where you wonder what happened, right? And I know the community doesn't like to talk negative about each thing or that, but like, let's be realistic. I mean, we need to start calling things out, because if this is gonna have a long cycle. Hey, what's up, chat? Yeah, I didn't get to 25 on mine for the very reason I got to 21. So again, I mean, I've even talked to other people, same senses, right? It like, don't go to 25. So you got to ask yourself, is that good game design? Like when you have people playing your box and they're like, yeah, that's really bad to go to 25. And how many, like if you ever played video games or games in general, you want to reward the player for doing what you want them to do in the gameplay experience, right? So that's doing good, high score. Why why would you give them a super negative? Um, it just doesn't make sense, because like what it's forcing players to do is get below 25, which that's just a weird game uh, concept right there. Like it just doesn't make sense. Um, so I kind of lost my train of thought. But what's up, Silver? Z Gaming, good to have you on. Yeah. So before we like kind of jump into it, we're gonna look at each box set, and I'm just gonna be honest and frank. I don't care if I hurt Caleb's feelings or Boggs. Boggs is no longer with the company. There's gonna be I'm gonna give you my point of view. I will give praise where I think, and if people know me, I've said very nice things about the devs and the different things they've done. But I just noticed in general a lot of the content creators are afraid to talk negative, because I think they want to be in their good graces. They want to get preview cards. They want to get interviews or whatever. So yeah, do not talk bad about anything about Marvel Champions. Almost. I have no filter. And if that stops me from like getting an interview or whatever, not that I probably would ever get one because my channel's so small. It doesn't really matter. I'd rather be honest with everybody and frank. That being said, I have a lot of positive things to say about the game, but again, I think nobody really touches on these negative points. Like they're afraid to talk about it, afraid to put the blame on somebody. Like the major content creators never touch on this, but I will. I'll take one for the team. And hopefully if they do see my stuff, they might say, hey, yeah, he's making a lot of sense what he's saying, even though it's hard to take. It's pretty negative. But like I said, guys, if we don't talk out about this, we're gonna get constantly like weird stuff like what we're just talking about that makes no sense. And let's jump to the table. I am gonna do a deck tech. When we go into Venom Goblin, I'll talk about my decks. It's basically very similar to what we ran into the campaign, but a couple changes. All right, so let's jump to it. Okay, so here we are. Let's talk about the dev tech, okay? Agree with you 100% on the criticism of Galaxies and Motos. I really like the Mutant Genesis box. However, so hopefully this is a step in the right direction. Yeah, and like you said, if people have watched me for a long time, or even on Discord, I've been extremely defensive and positive to even like heroes like Hulk. Like I know people love to use Hulk as the example of bad development and rushed and oh my god. I enjoy Hulk. I see Hulk's shortcomings, yes, and I see that they probably missed the fun factor. They could have made him a lot more funner for players. I think I know where they're going with Hulk. They wanted a very simple, straightforward hero that was very easy to play, does one big move per play almost. But the problem is when you have characters like Doctor Strange, Spider-Ham, the list goes on, when they can do so much per turn and so much better than Hulk, then people start comparing. But that being said, I am not one of those community members that moans and complains about Hulk. Oh, Hulk is so bad. We need to do something. Let's, do custom house rules for Hulk. No, I mean, I enjoy the part I enjoy about Hulk is I look at it as a challenge as a deck creator. Like someone like Villain Theory who loves to make decks or whatever, he probably likes Hulk too. I mean, I don't know, you have to ask him if he likes Hulk or not, but the thing is, it makes it interesting because you take a hero that is lackluster a bit as far as what he can do economy wise and what he can do with his small hand size, but use his strengths, high HP, pretty good attack, lots of attack events, Okay, how can you deck build that will, you know, synergize that and utilize his strengths the best he can, right? So I think there's some interesting builds out there. There's the Brute Hulk deck, there's the Justice Hulk deck, there's the Builder Hulk that I've kind of put on my channel for Nick Fury Quick and Dirty. Obviously the Rushdown Hulk is one of the best rush heroes in the game. And if people don't believe me, go watch my videos. Go watch me beating Galaxy's Most Wanted standard campaign under 30 minutes. And you can't tell me Hulk is not a good rushdown hero, because go try it with Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange is not a good rushdown hero. He's decent, but not like Hulk or other type heroes. Yes, Doctor Strange is super strong. He's more of a control hero in my opinion. But I wouldn't put him in the rushdown category. But yeah, some people don't like to play rushdown. But let's talk about these decks, and then we'll bounce over a little bit about the box sets and my thoughts and opinions on it. Okay, so this is the Justice SPDR. Pretty straightforward. You got 3 doubles. You got a Web of Life, which is critical for the Web Warrior tribal allies. And then what's really important is Across the Spider-Verse, which will you could trigger Web of Life to exhaust, get Peter Parker Spider-Man. Also, I think SPDR can get out Spider-Man Peter Parker quite easy because your interfaces are all different. Physical, power, wild. So makes sense to have her in this deck. And she is a ready type character. You want to be readying her, and she's amazing. Like she is, I wouldn't say as strong as Iron Man fully built, but like we're talking right neck and neck. Like when she's fully interfaced out and she gets a lot of cards in her hand, oh my gosh, she can do amazing stuff. So if you're a type of Marvel Champion players that likes Iron Man and you haven't really given SPDR a try, trust me, she is different. You have to aggressively try to put her interfaces out quickly. More importantly, Host Spider is your go-to thing to try to get out ASAP. But once you've got her sort of built, she is a beast. I'm telling you. 2 Overwatches again to help me in this scenario. And now Concussive Blows is specifically to get rid of Advanced Glider. That's the main purpose of them. Yes, maybe we play 2 and get it confused on stage 2 Venom Goblin, but that's kind of like here or there. 3 one way or others. That's like kind of the bread and butter of this deck, because you start with such a small hand size that you want to utilize the one way or other to get a bigger hand size to get your upgrades down. And she can thwart, right? Once she gets Psychic Link, Heroic Intuition, and she exhausts, she does 5, like when she exhausts Psychic Link. So that's pretty destroying any sort of size scheme that comes into play. Yeah, but you guys, I think, watched me play in the campaign. It was pretty much this deck almost. There's maybe a few changes, but now I will say, like, I don't play Ghost Spider a lot, but I like. She's definitely not an OP hero. Like what's interesting about her, she's very unique. Like, she's a hero that can do a lot of stuff on the villain phase. Now, there's not too many heroes in the game that kind of do a lot of work on the villain phase. There is Black Widow. There's, Black Widow's a major one. I think there's another one. My mind's a little lost a bit, but she is one of those type of heroes that has very interesting plays during the villain phase, and that's really cool, and I like that. She doesn't have that sort of crazy build economy where she becomes like a killing machine like Iron Man or even SPDR. But all through the game, she's kind of like Gamora style kind of effectiveness, especially on the villain phase. Now, I think, and I don't see this in a lot of her decks on Marvel DB. I'm not a huge fan of Marvel DB, but I think, let me explain. I'm not knocking Marvel DB. I think it's a great place, but I usually play two-handed, and the decks that are on there are usually cater to solo. Usually, most of them are solo decks. I mean, some of them do say multiplayer. Like for instance, this deck that I put together over here is not a solo deck. It's not a solo deck. Because we threw her in solo, she's not going to have answers to Scheme, or very good answers. Because we only have like Silk, who's not really there to get rid of Scheme, and then all you have is your Phantom Flips, right? So, but in multiplayer, this can work, and that's I think for me, I think Marvel CB can be a trap for new players because new players don't quite understand the concept of maybe a solo deck on Marvel DB to a multiplayer deck. Multiplayer decks can specialize, so they can go kind of like not really thwart removal and specialize maybe on defense, specialize maybe on one-turn kill combos, and then have another teammate kind of specialize more in this category. And so, you know, I think that's a trap for new players on Marvel DB. Maybe they get a deck on there and then they play with their friends and it's like, well, it's like a solo deck, right? And I think solo decks don't, like if it's built for true solo, it doesn't translate super well to multiplayer in my opinion. Because I think the benefit of multiplayer is you can really go kind of more specialization and go more maybe into a combo or some sort. But that's my opinion. Again, I think it's a good website to get ideas, but I would say if you're gonna play multiplayer, maybe try to take some of the good stuff from Marvel DB, but you know, specialize it a bit, right? Because the majority of decks on there I think are for solo play. I would be, so Peter says, I'd be interested in seeing you play solo. I know every content creator especially does this, but I think it'd be interesting to see what you bring to solo. I mean, I have a lot of older games that are solo. Like if you go back in my video archive, there's a lot of solo games I've done. I'm not, at this point of Marvel Champions, I played so much solo that I'm kind of like the two-handed and multiplayer is like kind of fresh for me. And I at its core, I think the game was meant for multiplayer. Like if we're being like honest, guys, there's just more synergy, more things. The counter cards flow better with more players. There's more combos for the villain and players. And again, I know the majority of Marvel Champion players play solo. I get that, and not that you can't have fun with it on solo, but I think the game just flows a lot better in multiplayer. And again, that's my opinion. So just take that with a grain of salt. But I am enjoying this two-handed kind of play just because it's interesting to make a deck for the scenario, and I might specialize this way in this deck and then this way in this deck. And I think that's really cool. So we got a couple chats there. I kind of missed out on the top chat there because it got cut off, but something about Iron Man, big fan of Iron Man. SBR is right up your alley then. I will have to check that. Yeah, I get your thoughts. The first time I played multi with Steve on his channel was so fun. Yeah, and Steve's like, that's another thing, playing with interesting people that like are having fun with the game. That again, it makes it, the enjoyment goes way up, right? And you know, yeah, playing with someone like Steve, who's always like, you know, very competitive, very like fun to play with, Marvel Champions. Yeah, it's really cool. And that's cool that he's doing that. I would love to do something like that on my channel to play with you guys, but I don't think I'm that big of a channel to really kind of dive deep into that. Like I think once, if we do hit over 1,000, well, a lot more people, I could probably do that. Like, so, you know, that's another topic. You know, like, you know, how am I gonna grow this channel? I don't know. I mean, but I am seeing growth slowly every week, like 5 more subscribers. So, I mean, if that continues to be like that, eventually we'll slowly get there. But I think as the game gets more popular, like if this next evolution hits, and it's popular and more people start coming in, like Magic the Gathering people come in, you know, then obviously all the content creators are going to get more subscribers. So that is good for me, good for the game. Did we talk about, okay, let's talk about Gwen Stacy here. So this is the protection. and they're each 40 card decks. And one thing I'll say as a tip for new players, when you're doing Iron Man, you're doing SPDR or Drax or any type of hero that has a very specific card to get out that makes them a lot better, like Drax's knife, or sorry, Dewey Teeth Mastery, Iron Man suit. You want to stay at 40. Never go above 40, because those hero decks, they really benefit from getting those upgrades out on the table as fast as possible. Brady Hall says, I saw it get cut off low. I was asking if you would recommend assess this situation for SPR because of her low hand size. Very good question. That's, you know, so I would say this. That's not bad. Here's the thing. Once you get her generator set up, her interfaces, she has so much resources to use those minimal cards in her hand that she's always sort of like, there's very hardly ever turns where I've not utilized all my cards that I've drawn. So I think SS situation is good. I'm not saying you can't run it in a SPR deck, but and yeah, it does synergize. I get what you're saying, because say you don't get the interface, well, you just play assess situation, so you get a bigger hand size for the next turn to hopefully get the interface. But this Justice deck, with one way or another's, does a pretty good job of siphoning through the deck quickly. Like I run 3 of them, so the chances of me getting one early is quite high, and that's gonna, you know, increase my hand size. But I would say this too, like I would do games and test it, right? And a lot of times I have ideas like, oh yeah, this card will probably work awesome, but then I play a scenario and it just doesn't really, it's not working together. So I've never tried assess situation in her deck. Maybe I should deck test it and see if it does make her a lot smoother. I know for this scenario I was strapped, like I really needed to get, I really wanted 3 Overwatches, but we gotta stay within 40. So, and the fact that the advanced glider is such a scary thing, I had to run 3 concussive blows. I said it before and I'll say it again. Josh's channel took off when he posted his thoughts on the game series called State of the Game. Your thoughts would be brilliant. Yeah, I mean, we could go. I am gonna do my thoughts sort of on the box sets, but I thought about doing this, and I don't know if this is like a little bit too out there for such a niche game, but I thought about doing maybe like a documentary about Marvel Champions, like stuff like document about Hulk, the creation of it, get the lore behind of what happened to Hulk. Maybe do a stuff about content creators like of Marvel Champions, and like, you know, put some buzz there for like the newer content creators that are trying to move up. But yeah, I got a lot of interesting ideas. Like at heart, I like being a content creator. I like using my creativeness. As you know, when you watch my channel, I do a lot of like images that show up, sound, music, and that's sort of my thing, right? It's my jam. I like doing that stuff. So the way I did Gwen Stacy here is, I think she's excellent protection, hands down. It just gels so well with her. The Defiance is like almost like it was meant to be in her hero kit. It's such a good card, especially on higher difficulties. Like on Expert 2, Standard 2, Defiance is amazing. Or just modular, like against the Venom Goblin, it's really good because there's lots of boost abilities. The Repurpose really does well with her in a sense of, it seems to synergize well with her really big flashy Ticket to the Universe combo, when you can repurpose like some of these techs that are low on counters. Worst case scenario, if you don't have a tech, like if you're strapped for techs, you can target your bracelet. I love your little talking head, so funny. Oh, you're talking about like Deadpool and Nick Fury and stuff like that? Or, oh no, you're talking about, I know what you're talking about. Like the memes that I put up, right? How about sharing strategy videos of heroes and aspects you would use when scenario villain X? We know you've got a ton of experience facing off against Ronin. Well, did you check out my Black Widow intel catch on Ronin? That came out a couple weeks ago. But I don't know if that's deep enough. But that was like a quick kind of, here's how you might want to go against Ronan. Watch out for this. It was the Black Widow kind of format. But yeah, I mean, my thing is this. You guys are the people I want to try to I want to make you guys happy. I mean, you guys are my channel, right? It's not me. So like, I want to go in the direction what you guys want. So, you know, keep those ideas coming. Tell me what you know. I know there's a lot of Marvel Champions channels out there. What are you missing? What do you want? Because maybe there's something there that you guys see and I don't see, and then I can tap into that. So it's good ideas. So we're running necessity situations with her, and I think it goes so well because Ghost Spider she wants to get George Stacy out, but then at the same time it's very jarring when the obligation comes out and takes your George Stacy. But she works so well when you're utilizing George Stacy, and you can do really cool stuff with assess the situation, repurposes, counter punches. And that's the only nitpick is I wish her obligation didn't have such a negative thing of like, okay, if you play George Stacy early, then you're in trouble because the obligation might take it away and all your cards attached are discarded. So sorry, not trying to distract you from starting the game, but would you consider Preemptive Strike and Ghost Spider since Defiance is so good? Preemptive Strike, well, Preemptive Strike, correct me wrong, is that the one where you calculate the boost of a boost card and you do damage to the villain, right? Preemptive Strike, I think that's the one you're talking about. Well, here's the thing. I think you want to always have perfect defense with Ghost Spider. And another thing is Preemptive Strike costs 1. If you look at, we're not running any really economy except for this one Enhanced Awareness, which is a limited resource. So I believe if you're not running like a very thick economy kind of build with your hero, it doesn't make sense to run the 1 cost, 2 costs events, because that's gonna eat up on your hand size because you have to pay for them. So that's why I like all these zeros, is because it has minimum impact on my hand size. That's my thought process on that. But no, a good point. Like she's a solid hero. I think you can build her in lots of different ways. For me personally, because I'm really focused on this combo and utilizing George Stacy with events, I run a lot of events, a lot of cheap events. If you see, they're all zeros basically. And then we're running the text to utilize repurpose. So the ideal situation, so basically you do a lot of damage on that first ticket phase, and then a lot of damage on the villain phase. So that usually translates to over like 40 plus damage if you do it properly, which usually will just straight up annihilate a villain. So she's sort of, the way I built her is kind of like a OTK combo hero, like Star-Lord or such and such. Silk is there just to get rid of like the glider, treachery, under fire, anything that's really nasty for me I don't want to deal with. And she's a cheap blocker, plus she works with Web of Life over here as well. And the thing is with Gwen, I don't think she's a hero that doesn't really need allies, because she is such a good defender, in my opinion. And I know you could run her with allies, and I think yeah, the other thing I would note is she has a card that stops an activation, but you need Genius for it. We do have quite a few Geniuses with Assist Situation, but this is nice just to get out, because that card that stops an activation could be critical. And so if we have Enhanced Awareness, which has 3 counters on it, and we could use it when we really need that 1 extra resource. So I think it's good just to put 1 in her deck if you can, in my opinion. But this is sort of how this deck works. I don't think it's like Doctor Strange level powerful. Again, Gwen's really a cool hero, because she's one of those heroes in the game that can do stuff on the villain phase. And when you combine her in a multiplayer environment, that can be very useful. Like, there's certain things she can do that no other hero can do. So she's definitely like an interesting hero, very solid hero, but I wouldn't be like, oh my god, she's like Spider-Ham, Doctor Strange type power level. No, she's definitely not there. And she's one of those type of combo heroes, in my opinion. You have to have the certain cards in order to get her to work nicely. So that's the only thing. All right, so let's shuffle up. We're gonna deep dive a little bit into the expansions that were released, and I'll give you my guys' thoughts on my brutally honest thoughts about everything. Now here's what I will say though. Like I know, what was it? The first expansion box, Rise of Red Skull. If you just slap on Standard 2 and play through that campaign, it's a lot more better. Like I know the biggest complaint is too easy, but just slap on Standard 2. It will definitely make it a little more difficult. And I think I think that's all it needs, really. Just and then if you're like a diehard masochist like me, Expert 2 or Red Skull, go for it. But I will say that's a quick fix that fixes the whole easiness of that box set. Because I mean, I think for their first box set, Rise of Red Skull wasn't terrible, but yeah, it was over advantageous for the players with the upgrades. Some of the scenarios were way too easy, but like I said, I think the fix is probably like currently right now, just slap on Standard 2 or Expert 2, and there you go. You got a much harder box that's more in line with everything else. Brady Hell says Spider-Ham is insane. I honestly breezed through Expert Venom Goblin with Spider-Ham with Iron Heart and two-handed. Was this campaign or is it skirmish? And did you go all the way to 25 on the rep track? Because that's brutal. Because 25 on the rep track, you're getting 2 extra encounter cards plus 2 more from the Hazard symbiote suits plus Public Outcry plus the 2 that are dealt to you as Venom Goblin Expert. That's a lot of freaking encounter cards. And that's one thing I'm gonna talk about why I think it's such a stupid thing. But it was campaign and I went to 20 on the rep track to avoid the 25. So you're smart. You're a smart player. Because Venom Goblin is very tough. And he's a combo type villain. If you play with his Goblin gear with the advanced glider, oh my god. The first round you have to say a prayer because that can be some nasty stuff happening. I always seem to get the bracelets at the very bottom of my deck. I don't know why. Like it's like the game hates me or something. Well, I gotta do a good shuffle. Okay, guys, let's talk about. All right, so inside here, I have a lot of rule books. Now, we're gonna talk about. Oh, this. You might be asking, why do I have 2 Galaxy's Most Wanted? Because I love that campaign so much. No, I think you know what happened? My 2-year-old at that time destroyed like half my stuff in that expansion, so I had to basically buy another box. That's the truth. And then this one, my 2-year-old got at it, which is the Red Skull one, I think. Yeah, Hawkeye. Anyways, what we got? So we got. Oh, there's where my big thing is. I wonder where this gigantic tracker was. I don't really use it. Okay, so, anyways, this is Red Skull. Let's. The one the 2-year-old got at. So basically Caleb and Boggs team developed this because they got their names both on it. And you got these other guys that I haven't heard of, but I guess it'd be interesting to see if they're still on these credits going forward. But they got a bunch of play testers. Scott Awesome. I wonder if that's his real name, but yeah. So quite a few playtesters. You don't see Steve Kimball on there yet. I think he was added later, maybe when Sinister Motives was put in. But yeah, like, so, you know, Rise of Red Skull. Like I said, I would just add Standard 2 or Expert 2 to it, and that should balance it out far as the difficulty, I believe. But yeah, I think you got to give them a little bit of forgiveness, because I mean it was their first set that they kind of were making, and I think there was a lot of learning things. Like they were trying, was it like a market? What? No, they were doing upgrades, right? Upgrades. But yeah, I think the story was pretty okay. Like, you know, it's a comic book. So I don't want to talk too much about this one, but I think I don't mind it. I just, when I play it, I put in Standard 2 usually, or if I'm playing Super Strong Heroes, Expert 2, and it's really really challenging actually, or it's up there on challenge level. Let's talk about the infamous Galaxy's Most Wanted, everyone's favorite. So we got Michael Boggs, who's the first name put down. I don't know if that means like he's the. It looks like they got all Aaron's on here. Who's Aaron? I don't know. With Caleb Grace, but it sounds like this was Boggs's baby though, because they're just saying with Caleb. So maybe he was the head one for this one. Playtesters. Still, Scott Awesome is on there. Oh, there's Tony. Shout out to Tony. Now he's a developer for the game. There's good old Tony. And I think Tony is definitely a rising star for this franchise for Marvel Champions. I think I put my faith in Tony. I think Tony's going to be our messiah, basically. So can this box set be saved? Is there things we can do to salvage it? Because I will just say this: it's so overtuned, especially the expert rules, and I think this is where they need to get better. If we're being honest, guys, let's just call this out. They need to really understand. Okay, so when they do these rule stuff and they tell you do this or add this into the scenario, they really got to make sure that it's fun for the players. What? You broke the Play-Doh? Okay, go potty. You're doing the potty dance. Go potty. Go potty, Jossie. Okay, totally don't know. Sidetrack now. What were we talking about before Joshy came in? Something about, oh yeah, about the rules and how they, so in my eyes, I feel that they're missing the bar when it comes to the mechanics that they introduce into these campaign playthroughs. I feel like they either overtune them, and what I mean by that, like, look at I'll give you an example. I mean, look, let's just talk, like, go to Ronin. I mean, do people remember, like, so Ronin, do you guys remember his freaking campaign side scheme Ronin gets? The thing has it has like double hazards or something. You're going? All right, good night. Bye. All right. Okay, so what I'm trying to get at is that the side campaign was so stupid for Ronin, because Ronin was already like highly tuned with his surges and fanaticism, and they put in pincer maneuver, put pincer maneuver in, put in cut the power in, like, and then you throw the freaking side, like, there's so much threat. so much more hazards, more encounter cards. Again, do not drown players into encounter cards. Okay, it's okay to do that with maybe Green Goblin, or like fine, Venom Goblin has extra encounter cards, Magneto one extra encounter card. That's fine. But then you freaking go ballistic on all these side scheme campaigns, rules stuff, add another standing acute. Like, who the hell tested this freaking scenario? Like, and were the devs even listening to the testers? Like, I mean, if I was one of their testers, I'd be like screaming at them, like you guys cannot release this. This is like you're gonna lose people to want to play your Marvel Champions game. This is the worst. I mean, I would have been very critical to them, and they probably would have fired me the next day. I'm pretty sure. But yeah, I'm not gonna put the blame all on Caleb, because I think he was kind of just there a little bit, and I think it was mainly Boggs and this Aaron guy. So you guys dropped the ball. I'm just gonna. The buck stops on them, guys. You can't keep defending. Like, come on, guys. You gotta be realistic, okay? The buck stops at the big people, okay? And what's the true story? Who to blame with the finger pointing? No, I mean, just they dropped the ball. They dropped the ball. Okay, so let's go to the next one. Was it Mad Titan? Yeah, Mad Titan was the next one. Oh, who play tested it? Well, I think it's pretty much the same play testers. So Tony was in this one, and Rise of Red Skull, Tony was in there too. So what's weird though is, I think Tony has a good understanding of the game and what players like. So I wonder, like, was he afraid to tell Michael Boggs and Caleb and this Aaron guy? Was he afraid to like tell, like, because he probably knew, or maybe he didn't even get a chance to test. Like, here's the thing, we don't know if Tony got his hands on Ronin, right? Because the way I heard that they have them in different groups doing different stuff, heroes, or they're doing this. So who knows? Maybe Tony didn't even get to try the Ronin campaign or whatever. I don't know. I mean, I'm not saying Tony's our savior, but like, I feel like from what I've seen with his work, he gets it somewhat, that he doesn't overtune stuff, at least what I've seen from him. Like, I think Mojo was a good example, that he did a series of scenarios which were very mechanically advanced as far as Marvel Champions goes, and it didn't feel like so overtuned, like unfun, and you know, the way that some of these things are playing out. Now, where do we get the credits? Oh, in the inside. So this is Mad Titan's Shadow, and this one's done by our magnificent Caleb Grace. I'm tongue-tied here. So I think Caleb hit a home run in the sense of he didn't screw up on this one. Now, I know some people will say, well, Loki's not fun. I disagree. Like, okay, fine, Loki's not fun. Okay, fine, that's your opinion. But I don't think he screwed up with superly overtuning everything in this set. I think he hit a really good balance of the rules in the campaign, what the players get, everything seemed like pretty much everybody didn't have a lot of complaints. The only complaints I kind of hear is like Loki. I don't like how much HP Loki has, or the Infinity Stones with Loki is a slugfest. Me personally, I think it makes Loki very thematic. Like, if you're following the story, the dude steals the Infinity Gauntlet. Of course, that's gonna make Loki super strong and like very difficult. Like, I mean, and for me, like, it's the last boss of the game, so you don't want to make him a flimsy, absorbing man or something. Like, you know, you got to beef him up a bit. I think they did. Like, for me, I like thematics. I want something thematic. Like, I like how they did Venom Goblin with the glider flying around and he's doing stuff. And I think they did a good job with, in my opinion, I like Loki. I know D20 hates Loki, but I don't know. I don't get why he has such a hatred towards Loki. I know Brant likes to rush every villain, so obviously he's not going to like Loki. But I thought they did a good job on Loki. And I'm not afraid to come hard on things I think are just bad. But yes, I know Loki is like a mixed bag with people. Yeah, boxes have ridiculous end villains, Ronan and Venom Goblin. Well, I'm going to defend Venom Goblin a little bit, but not the overly tuned campaign rules and some of the things that were, and I'm going to talk about that. But in a nutshell, guys, I think Caleb is someone that does understand the balancing, and I think if we're being honest, this was probably the best set to come out at this time, right? And that was good, and I think it kind of put more hope into, okay, they're on to something. They're getting better. The heroes were starting to get a lot more interesting too. But yeah, this was a win for Caleb. I would say good job, Caleb. And now let's talk about sinister motives. I think like the story of it was really interesting. I mean, it is a comic book story. Yes, it's not gonna knock your socks off, but thematically, the Venom scenario, the Sandman scenario, I was not a big fan of the Sinister Six, like where you're trying to escape. I was just playing whack-a-mole, basically. Just one comes out dead, destroyed. And I felt a disconnect of that scenario. I didn't feel it very thematic. I didn't feel pressured that I'm trying to escape. There was no really time clock there. It was just a whole bunch of threat on a side scheme that I had to deal with sooner or later. So I feel like, yeah, unfortunately, Michael Boggs, I know you're probably going to send me hate mail like, dude, can you ever say anything nice about it? No, I think you definitely missed the bar on that scenario. I think that the theme just wasn't there for me. The mechanical structure of it, I get what you were trying to do, but it just wasn't working. It wasn't working. I don't know. I think you would have to go back to the lab and configure it a little bit differently. But I think this scenario for me was just a dud. Again, the way I look at it, I look at theme, I look at the mechanics of how that scenario works, and I look at like, is it, fair? Is it just enough difficulty that is pushing people? And is like, can the players interact with the scenario? Like you look at Venom, there's so much interact. You got the bell tower to interact. You can strategize. Do you want to get the bell tower ringing? Do you want to attack Venom? Because then he gets a face down boost card on your identity. So there's a lot of interesting strategies and player decisions. And that's what I love. And you see that a lot with Tony as well. Like Tony and his Mojo pack, there is a lot of thinking there. And there's a time clock, and there's this and there's that. And things are flipping, changing over. And I know people are going to start saying, wow, you're really riding Tony right now. No, I just think for someone new coming onto the team, he's doing a really good job. I think he's only going to get better at his game design. And I think Caleb he's gotten really better too, I think. The only thing about Caleb though, he's doing other games, which is fine. But I wonder if that's going to, kind of like you have different kids and you favor one kid over the other. But I think Tony is also a big comic book fan, so maybe that, or not Tony, Caleb. So maybe that's not even a thing I'm thinking of. I'm just, overreacting. But Mysterio was, I think thematically was really, really interesting. Mechanically, very, I would say it was risky what they were doing because you're putting encounter cards in your deck, and then how mechanically does that work when you play the scenario? I kind of found it a little annoying and too RNG dependent. Like it was, I'm not saying like it was a collector frustration, but I was getting those vibes, like those collector vibes. But I don't think it was a terrible, I think it was interesting what they were trying to do with the scenario. But it might have been a little too complex. If we're being honest, like it was a little bit too much going on in the scenario. But I'm not going to give it like a super negative thing here. But the big thing I want to talk about is The tracker. So where's the tracker? It's on the back. And I mentioned sort of in the beginning of my live stream here that it just makes no sense to go to 25. Give yourself a face down encounter card per player, and then the symbiote suit has a freaking hazard on it. Like, it would have made more sense if it said, just in this box, ignore the hazard on your symbiote suit. There you go, mission accomplished. That's all they had to do. And yes, you get that one extra encounter card, but for the rest of the game, you have an additional additional card, and you have more HP, and your stats are a little higher. Definitely, okay, the one extra encounter card at the start, fine, that kind of gives the villain some tempo there. But having an extra 2 or 3 or 4 encounter cards, depending on your player count, is brutal. And the symbiote suit is not utilized by every hero in the game the best, right? Doctor Strange isn't going to be like, oh god, yes, I got the symbiote suit. I mean, he's probably one of the worst characters to get it. But yeah, I think mechanic just doesn't make any sense. And then so what's happened? People don't try to get 25, which is like, why do you want to encourage people not to get 25? Or was that your intention? If that wasn't your intention, that makes no sense. So I would, if I ever got to interview Caleb, I would really grill him on this. Like, you know, what was your, you know, he'd probably admit he kind of screwed up, but well, yeah, I don't know. So anyways, so the main premise is, what I'm trying to get at is, they need to get better at tuning their rules for the campaign. I think bringing Tony in, they might get around that now, because, and Caleb got better. If you look at Marvel Champions Mad Titan Shadow, that was Caleb's baby, and I think he did a good job as far as the rules go on that one. So that's my main takeaway. And then we got Mutant Genesis, which, you know what, I never looked at the back. Now, oh, was Steve from Play the Game on here? The testers? Steve Kimball? Let's see. Does anyone see Steve Kimball? I don't. Oh, there he is. Okay, there. So another thing is, and I don't think Steve would probably talk about it, because he's probably told you cannot talk about development of, because you're a tester. So you probably wouldn't, because if you did, you'd probably lose his play testing abilities. But it'd be interesting to see, like, Steve, did they take your criticism? Did you warn them about, you know, stuff that I'm mentioning, or did you have the same feeling? But again, I don't think he's ever going to talk about it, because I think there's some type of agreement that he is not supposed to talk about development processes and stuff like that. So yeah, so I don't think we're ever going to know from him unless he decides to quit Marvel Champions, and then he has a off the record talk, which we don't want Steve to quit, right? Everybody loves Steve. But yeah, anyways, it's such an interesting Marvel Champions community, right? You have even play testers that make content for it. Yeah, so we got Mutant Genesis. Now, I really like this book. I think it really hits the theme for me of the 90s, and I love X-Men. And I just like, I think Future Past Modular was cool. It felt maybe a little overtuned a bit, but I think it made sense for like that kind of thematic feel of like, these are things coming from the future and they're very scary, and like it definitely hit that. And it's really cool. Maybe they could have explained it a little bit in the story as far as like the Future Past Modular. Yeah, I know you have to sign the NDA. Yeah, I know. But I love, like, to me, mechanically, the theme and the rules of the setups, I think are good. And I think that's the key. They need to make sure that things make sense, that things aren't overly tuned or underly tuned. They need to get that chef kiss. You know what I'm talking about? And in order to do that, they need really good, knowledgeable people, whether it's in the testing group or the people at the top in development. And like I said, I have faith that Next Evolution is going to be a great box, because I think I believe in Tony, and I think they're learning from their mistakes. I think they have learned from a lot of these mistakes that I mentioned. And I know some people are a little bit like, ooh, I don't know. and player size schemes and all this stuff. But no, I have faith. I have faith. Well, we'll see when it comes, right? But so what am I showing you guys? One thing I will say though, I think Magneto is a touch little too hard on campaign, because you have that like side thing that turns into like a +1/+1 for him. Now, one interesting thing, guys, you can game it. Run Vivian in your deck, and the moment you're about to get that size scheme eliminated, play Vivian before she blanks out the when reveal text on the text on the scheme. So when you defeat that scheme, you don't flip it over, you just discard it. But then I think it would go back in the discard pile and then be an encounter card, I believe. But or unless Victory is a traded, I think Victory is a traded, right? So if Victory is a traded, guys, go downstairs. If Victory is a traded, then Vivian doesn't blank it out, so then it goes into Victory, I think. Yeah, that's one way to get around it. But I think in a sense they could have got rid of that. That was a little bit, especially for solo, because the schemes are quite narrow margin. So they're kind of like Rhino feel, but you got this super end type villain. So it's very, felt very too swingy basically when I played it solo, and he had his +1/+1. But there is a Vivian answer to it, but that's where I think they could just fine tune it a little bit more. But overall, I think this was, again, another home run. Like I think they did an excellent job of Mutant Genesis. Is one of my up there favorite campaigns. Who is responsible for this one? Caleb Grace again. Additional development, Michael Boggs had a little touch in it, and Tony. So I guess, again, one thing I'm noticing though, the campaigns that I think most people enjoy are done by Caleb Boggs. Caleb Grace. So, and like I said, I think it's awesome that we still have Caleb on the Marvel Champions team, and I believe he's sort of the head very top developer of the game, and that's good. I think obviously he's probably, what I want to know is now on like who made Doctor Strange, who made Hulk, who was sort of behind those characters. I think there's answers out there. I think people have gotten some information out of whoever. I forget who is sort of around them. Peter says, yes, I do not find Magneto fun in solo. People seem to be such fans of him, but for me, meh. I mean, he hits all the check boxes for me, for theme, for the mechanics. But yeah, for solo play, he's a little overtuned, especially if you play campaign with that thing that flips over and gives them +1/+1. Yeah, I agree. But overall, great job. I think Kimball's still in here too, I believe. Although if you look at playtesters, there's a lot more of them. So it looks like they really grew the playtesters up. And that's another question I would have them. It's too bad Nelson didn't ask that question in his interviews. That it appears that their playtesters have grown. Or no, maybe he did. I think he did touch on playtesting though. But another question is, no, I think they did mention that they did expand their playtesters a bit. Like they had an alpha team, or like the Navy SEAL team of playtesters, like another group that did like hardcore testing, I think, or something like that. Does anyone see Steve? Where are you, Steve? Actually, I don't think I see Steve on here. So why was he not on Mutant Genesis? Is he on here? Oh, maybe he only play tested for one box and that was like enough for him. Yeah, I don't see Steve Kimball on here. Unless people on chat, do you see Steve Kimball? I don't see him. So why, I wonder why he didn't participate in this one. Maybe he was just too busy life or something. Interesting to know. I wonder if he's on the next Evolution playtester group. All right, guys. So that sort of does it for just my recap. But I just figured it'd be interesting to kind of talk about everything. And I will say this, I think Michael Box has given us great ideas and great things with the game. You gotta look at it like this. Marvel Champions wasn't just developed by one person. It was developed by Michael Boggs, Caleb, and maybe a couple others. And this is why we have this awesome game right now, right? So as much as I was kind of crapping on Michael Boggs, I do give him credit. Like, obviously, he probably had some really good ideas how we got Marvel Champions to begin with. And I did give him credit for some scenarios that I liked. So here's my defense of Michael Boggs. But if we're being honest, it seems like Michael Boggs dropped the ball the most. We just gotta call it how it is, right? A spade is a spade. But that being said, I hope all things are good with you, Michael. I think obviously I could not even come up with like a pinch of your creativeness and your brilliance. I'm not like a developer. I'm a critic basically. But what I'm trying to say is that I think our future for Marvel Champions is going in the right direction. Based on some of these interviews I heard and getting to know a little bit more about their thought processes, how they team things up, their player groups now that they have. It seems like we're only going to go better, guys. I don't think we're going to start going downhill. Which leads me to the next question is like, does that give you guys, like, are you excited? Like, are you sensing what I'm sensing? Like, I'm looking more optimistically for the future based on what I see. I don't know if there's some negative Nancy's out there, or you see the glass half full. But let's get into the actual game, because this is what we all came for, right? To do battle with Venom Goblin in glorious Marvel Champions style. So who are we going first? I think we're gonna go with Penny. So yeah, real quick, 36 HP, Venom Goblin with tough. He has, so I'll just talk about this. He has a forced, got a reveal, deal 2 face down counter cards to each player. Then he has Claim the Throne, so that's his unique mechanic. He's gonna be moving around. So when he activates, whether it be thwart or attack, he's going to claim the throne, which after Venom Goblin activates against you, move the glider counter to the main scheme with the least threat, resolve its special. And yeah. And so you got Lower Manhattan, Midtown, and Upper. This one is going to put 1 on each scheme. This one's going to do 2 indirect damage. This one is going to discard a card. Now I will say this, you do not want this to go on this one. You do not want the glider to go onto Upper Manhattan, because that's going to eat away at your card economy. Your card economy is there to control, to stabilize threat. So if it goes over here, you're gonna be in a really bad position. So we want to avoid that. So this one just shows you like how to play this scenario. It's the main scheme. It just says to put them all in play and then put the glider onto Midtown. So we're gonna shuffle the encounter deck. Yeah, I could guess I can edit. And I'm glad you guys enjoy my perspective. I know my opinions are a little bit out there. They're not, they're a little bit rawer compared to some content creators, but I love the game. I mean, people know I love the game, and I do. The criticisms I do have for it, they're very genuine, and they're very like, I just want them to get better, and I want the game to be successful, right? So it's not like I want the game to go bankrupt, or I'm just passionate about Marvel Champions. And I do realize like everyone has their, kind of different feelings on different things. And that's why I think it's cool that, you know, we can have these different opinions and still co-assign with everybody's. But we're gonna do the reveal here. Venom Goblin, player 1 is Penny Parker. So 2 face down encounter cards go to player 1, and 2 goes to Ghost Spider. All right, so we're gonna start with Penny Parker. And then we're gonna draw 4. All right, so don't like this hand at all. The skill's not bad, but if we're being honest, we really... Okay, we'll mulligan 3. Okay, so Gwen Stacy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I guess we'll keep that. Mulligan 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5. Oh gosh, we really want to get... That's a terrible hand. We want to get those gauntlets out and unflammable and all that, but... So not too excited about these hands that we were given, but we're just gonna try to make it work. So they both kind of fell flat. Maintenance. All right, looking a little bit better. We got a double. All right, let's pay a resource. Put my speed metal alloy out. We're gonna flip over to hero. I'm going to spend a resource. All systems go. All systems go. We're gonna get Host Spider. There it is. We're gonna pay a double plus an interface. Host Spider. So question is, I wish I got one way or another. We didn't. Okay, we're gonna exhaust Host Spider to Thor for 2 onto Lower Manhattan, brings it down to 0. And I'll play my Skill Investigator and just hold my All Systems Go for next turn. I think that's probably the smart move. Okay. Not happy with Gwen at all. This is like such a bad hand. What do we have in our discard pile? So this is what we have. We do have a Phantom Blip and a Defiance. I might grab the Defiance. Okay. We're gonna go Resource George Stacy. We're gonna exhaust him to put a Web Binding. Then use Gwen Stacy action, which will ready him, and we can exhaust to put Counter Punch. Oh wait, hold on. We want to enhance. Want to get our enhance awareness down, I think, actually. All right, pay 2 resources. It's gonna come in with 3 counters. So it's I was gonna say a genius. All right, let's flip over. We'll just get rid of Tough, and that will be it. So pretty lackluster turn from both of them. I mean, not actually. SPDR had an okay turn because we got Host Spider out, but she definitely not the best. All right, then we're getting. Oh, that's nice. And Flappable came out. Okay, so we got a Defiance, which is pretty good. All right, so this goes up by 2. Goes up by 2. And goes up by 2. All right, attacking SPDR. We're gonna defend with Ghost Spider. Whoa, Defiance. And we are discarding. Woo! Okay, Glider's out. That's good. So take no damage, Dizzy Reflexes, and we're good. He will then the Glider will go to the lowest. We'll put it down to Lower Manhattan and go 1 on everything. So we'll be attacking me. So we have a cancel, but yeah, I think we have to, oh gosh, we have to pay a genius. Oh, great. Exhaust, enhance awareness, and another resource. Web binding. Oh, you know what? We'll use our web binding that's on George Stacy. Yeah. Okay, perfect. All right, so we stop that activation. And now we go and counter card. So wish me luck, guys. This is gonna be Symbiote Berserker. Let's just show you the new cards that come out. It's a minion. While a symbiote environment is in play, Symbiote Berserker gains Quick Strike. So yeah, he's a 3. We sort of have to deal with him. Shadow of the Pass. We do have a cancel, but that means we lose on Flappable if we play it, which I really don't want to lose on Flappable. Honestly, it's not the end of the world. We're gonna take Shadows to pass. Or do I have a way to deal with Shadows? You know what? I'm not really fully set up to deal with Shadows though. I would hate to lose on Flappable, which it looks like. Oh no, I don't have it canceled. This is a stop and activation. Okay, my bad. Shadow of the Past.
Game over. Shadows of the Past.
So Morbius comes out.
Who called this? It could have been Shadows of the Past. You jinxed me, bro.
Giant monster attack. These get shuffled in. Okay. Unstable Sentience. That's going to Surge, give the villain 1 additional boost card. Oh, Surge is first, and then the boost card. Symbiote Thrall. Joyride. Oh gosh. It's gonna hit the 2, 4, 6. It's gonna proc, move the glider token to the main scheme with the most. That's gonna do 2 indirect. Arrange Symbiote and Symbiote Thrall. Okay. Passes it to Ghost Spider. We're gonna pay a resource to put down Unflappable, and then George Stacy will hold the binding. I'm just gonna knock off this guy. That's all I can do basically. That's pretty bad. Or I could go 1 over here. Yeah, I think actually we're gonna keep the symbiote and do 1 over here. Then we're going to All systems go. I take a damage from Morbius. All systems go. All systems go. Oh, wait a sec. I don't. Yeah, Psychic Lick is only going to give me 4 at this point. Yeah, it's not good. Looks like we're going to take an extra counter card. Yeah, so we can't get rid of it. We're going to put back the 6 and kill this guy. Then I'm going to go Metal Alloy plus a resource. Psychic Link. Yeah, it is pretty bad. We used another resource, so we take a damage because of the force response from Morbius. Then we got this concussive blow, which it does blow right now. All right, so we thwart with Psychic Link. We're doing 4. Brings it to 2 left. Then we Host Spider and thwart for 2 to get rid of Joyride. Skilled Investigator. We get a double. Oh yeah, that sucks. There's a lot of firepower on me. I think we're gonna take the risk of flipping back to Alter. We're gonna discard Concussive Blow and keep the double. Oh, nice. We got the one way or another. Okay. Let's hope for the best, guys. Oh, we gotta cancel. That's nice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we gotta activation cancel. Okay, so this is not looking terrible considering the circumstances. All right, goes up by 2. Oh, but he is swinging with 2 boost cards. Ouch. It's gonna be painful for Ghost Spider here. Okay, coming at me hot. 2 boost cards, we defend. Let's run the gauntlet. Oh, 0 boosts. Oh, damn. So it gets me for the 1 damage. Whoops. So I go down to 7. Can I do anything at this point? I could stop an activation here, but I'd rather stop it on Penny Parker. So I take 2 from that dude, and the glider will go to the lowest. We'll move it over here, and this goes. Or wait, we might want to move it here because these things are gonna activate. So if we have to discard a card, guess 1 card here. Yeah. He's gonna then try to activate on Penny. I'm going to play 2 wilds and under George Stacy, web binding. So we stop that activation, and these guys go for 3, 6, 7, 8. We ready. Dizzy Reflexes. All right, and we have a cancel, so that's not bad. Gang Up. Yes, I will cancel that. 2 resources. Pirouette and Punch. And we do 2 to Venom Goblin. Okay. And then we get an advance. Here we go. And good. Word Father is gone.
Wow.
Puts 4 on this one. Goes to 12. Goes to the lower and adds 1 to everything. Alright. We're slowly trying to get built up here so we can control everything. We pass to... I just want to say, guys, I made a lot of mistakes on my my campaign version of this fight. I think I had a attachment where we were supposed to do 3 damage or more, get an extra face down boost or face down boost, and then get rid of it. We left it the entire game. And then I think also on the last part where we counterpunch, we actually had to wait for a treachery to reveal because he had the bombs that did a force response of 2 damage, which actually would have killed me. But I had a way, I actually had combat training the following player phase. I could have played and got the 1 last damage. We had the resources to do it. For some reason, I didn't see it. So we had actually the kill shot on the player phase. But even going into the villain phase, I would just have to maneuver to get the first treachery and do the Poeta and punch, 1 damage, kill him. Doesn't the minion activate with gang up? We canceled gang up. So with, let me just show you the card. When a card is revealed from the counter deck, deal 1 damage to the villain equal to 1 more than the number of boost icons on the card. Cancel the card's when revealed effect. So the one that is in question was gang up. If you look, you see all it just has when reveal. So those are just blanked out. So gang up never happened, basically. Okay, Penny Parker's up to bat. We're going to maintenance. Go 2 more. We will spend 1 to put at May Uncle Ben. We'll use it. Discard 3. And we get nothing. That sucks. Okay. Our health is fine. Let's flip over. We are gonna do one way or another. We're gonna grab where is it? Festering Mass. So that can come out on a boost, which we want to get rid of. And I have 0 cards to play with Ghost Pirate because we used it all. So that comes with 5 on it. We draw 3. 1, 2, 3. We're gonna ready with Host Spider. Just gotta get my heroic intuition. That's the key. So I think what we'll do is this. Oh, we're gonna take freaking damage from Morbius, that son of a... I hate you, Morbius! Alright, let's... We have Overwatch. So I got a plan, guys. We're gonna play Overwatch on here. We're going to thwart this with Psychic Link to bring it down to 1. And now the Overwatch bypasses the when reveal on giant monster attack. Not the reveal, but because Overwatch is not considered a thwart, we bypass the additional cost of bouncing it over here, which in my eyes is pretty nice. So we actually eliminate that. And skilled investigator. There you are. There you are, beautiful. Mwah. Heroic intuition. So happy to see that one. We are going to then do a double. Spider-Man Auto Octavius, ready Psychic Link, and draw a card. You want to spend 2 resources. Put my heroic down. We're gonna go. We gotta take this freaking Morbius out, but he's gonna cause me damage. Yeah, he's really annoying. Yeah, we Thor for 1 with our auto. To get rid of that. Okay. So I don't want to take all this damage from the Morbius. That's my problem. But it looks like I'm going to have to. Okay. I might get a swing kick next turn and I can nail him. So that is a possibility. Let's do this. 2 resources. We take 2 damage. Rapid deployment. We're gonna move 3 and 3. So let's go 3 and here. And I guess 3 more. So down to 7 on this one. Okay. So I could thwart a lot. Like, here's the thing, I'm at 10 health. I gotta be careful. Like, yes, I want to do my all systems go. Okay. All systems go. Take another damage. Ready my interfaces. Ready with Post Spider, and then thwart for 5. Yeah, let's go down to 1 on here. Okay, I'm going to do two damage. This 2 damage can go. We gotta get rid of that guy. Alright, I think we should stay with Ghost Spider. I know it's a little sketch right now, but we do have our Speed Metal Alloy. We're at 9 health. I'm putting a lot of faith in Ghost Spider. I want to get the Ghost Kick. If I look at my discard guys, I don't think I have any Ghost Kicks in here. So the chances of me drawing to a Ghost Kick are super high right now, so... And watch me not draw into it. Okay, so drawing for Ghost Spider. Yes! Got the Ghost Kick, baby. There we go. I'm happy. Happy to see that. Okay. But things are looking better for SPDR. He's going to run the gauntlet over here. Goes up by 2, goes to 3 on lower, 12 on mid, and 9 on upper. Okay. We'll attack SPR suit. We're going to defend. Yeah, he would get a boost card. Defiance. So we say goodbye to the boost card. Okay. And I take no damage. I dizzy. Unflappable. And then when I'm doing the response window, I pay a double Ghost Kick. And we knock off Morbius. Yes. Okay, then the minions will try me. So I think I just take it. It's 5 damage. down to 4. This will then just go on to this, and then go this, and then go 10. Okay. I will then defend with Spider-Man, Otto Octavius. Move the glider character to the main scheme with the most threat. Place 1 threat there. So it would go to 14, then go back to lower and add 1 to each. So that goes away. And then the thralls coming at me for 2. Yeah, I just take 2, I guess. All right, counter card. Swing assault. Oof, that's really bad. 1 additional boost card. Yeah, we're just gonna have to defend. Exhaust speed metal alloy, and this could be game right here. So it really depends on the boost cards. First boost card is master plan. So I'm taking 1, and then if it's a triple, I lose. It's a triple. Damn it! Are you kidding me? That is game over, guys. So we just got knocked out. Wow. So that is gonna end our playthrough. Just had enough damage there to finish me off. He rolled high on those boost cards though, like holy crap. We would have been fine here because we could have just paid the 2 power and ignored the. But yeah, so Descry did not pull off a win here. But I feel like if we didn't die there, we were gonna scheme this pretty low next turn, flip to heal. I think we're in a good position. I guess, you know, we had the chump blocker, but like, I mean, you don't know if you're going to get an activation or not, so might as well use the chump blocker on activation, which we did. Damn, that's so unfortunate that he had the exact damage to kill us. I mean, oh man. Anyways, so sorry guys, I couldn't pull this one off for you. But it was, yeah, the fun part is when you do these combos, like when you do her mega combo and her ticket combo over here. That's like the really cool part. Not much to say. I mean, that's just the way Marvel Champions goes, right? You play a little risky. I mean, you know what kind of did us in is that freaking Nemesis minion, because every time we do our interfaces, we took 1 damage when we generated a resource. So that's, you know, that's kind of the nasty part. And that kind of came back to bite me, right? So if I wasn't, yeah, if I wasn't taking all those ping damages, I'd probably still be in the game. Okay, so we're gonna end it here. Stay tuned on my channel for more Marvel Champions. Yeah, Morbius definitely got the better of us this game. And I will be releasing some new stuff in the coming weeks, so stay tuned, guys. Iron Man, take it away.
It's me, Iron Man. Now, how much Discray paid me doesn't matter. What matters is to like and subscribe to Discray Gaming, or else I will repulsor bless you. Seriously, this is what you wrote me.